There was a story on ESPN about building the perfect pitcher in terms of today's pitchers. I think Cody switched one of the pitches out on his.
Just because I like this, it was one of my favorite pitches. Still is.
And, the story, it gives a lot of different reasons. It expands on a lot of things. It expands on hit rates. So I think we're just going to kind of get into it.
Yeah.
All right. Back again. Like and subscribe.
We're doing something a little bit, well, not really different.
You're not going to say hello?
Hi. We're doing something a little bit, well, I don't, we do have one announcement. We're talking about the podcast.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that?
Okay, so we're considering doing a podcast.
That's not really a consideration anymore.
We're going to do a podcast, I guess we've
There
decided.
you go. Have to be positive.
I wasn't negative, but we're wanting to start doing a podcast because I think what we do in terms of this would be better in a podcast form.
Yep.
Because we do a lot of stuff with notes, things like that.
Right. For things that.
So what we would do is we do a podcast for sports that are in season.
Yeah.
So we were planning on starting the podcast style stuff next week, right? So what we would do it on, football's just in early preseason mode right now. So we wouldn't do it for football. We would still do some stuff on YouTube for football probably. So we would do it for baseball, which starts Thursday. We would do it for soccer.
Wait.
What?
Oh, which starts Thursday.
Yes, it starts this Thursday.
Yeah, I was sitting there going, that's soccer. What are you talking about?
Baseball starts this Thursday, the actual Major League Baseball season. We would do it for baseball, soccer, and basketball. And of course, basketball is getting towards the tail end of the year, so.
And hockey, we would do it for too, but the hockey's getting ready to go through the Stanley Cup. So right now, we'd have to keep it to like 40 minutes talk time.
Yeah, tops. I mean, that's.
Because we would have 4 sports to cover.
We have so many sports to cover, and you only have. It's hard to explain everything. You only have so much space, storage stuff. It's. Hard
Yeah,
to
you
explain.
have to pay. You have a payment plan, and you get certain megabytes.
Yeah, you get certain storage space.
And the certain audio files that we would upload take a certain number of megabytes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep looking into it.
Yeah.
Make sure we can compress our files and make everything.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to get into technical stuff, but we're gonna start doing a podcast of at least 3 sports. If it gets to the point where our storage space starting to run out, we'll just keep to 3 sports at a time.
Yeah.
Even if there is a
which is
sport.
probably what there's only ever going to be. This will be the only time there'll ever be 4 in season.
Because
Pretty much.
when spring comes up, there's a lot of sports going on. But you want to get into our first segment today?
Yeah, our first segment today. There was a story on ESPN about building the perfect pitcher in terms of today's pitchers. I think Cody switched one of the pitches out on his.
Just because I like this, it was one of my favorite pitches. Still is.
And, the story, it gives a lot of different reasons. It expands on a lot of things. It expands on hit rates. So I think we're just going to kind of get into it.
Yeah.
So I guess the first pitch we'll get into is the 4-seam fastball. And something cool that I like that they did on this article is if you expand it, it shows you the grip and how the pitchers hold the ball when they throw the pitch, which is really cool. So 4-seam fastball, Jacob deGrom cut his hair off. He joked that he cut his hair off so he could get more velocity on the ball. But
just to go a little bit more on him, he just signed an extension with the Mets.
yeah, he just signed that.
So they finally got that finalized. I don't know why it took so long. I kind of do because he wasn't up for free agency, I guess, until next winter. I guess.
Yeah.
But to me, he won the Cy Young.
Yep.
And that's another note. He won the Cy Young. So I mean, is this his best pitch? Do they talk about that?
This is his best pitch.
Okay.
Now he is in there. I think he's the only pitcher. Okay, they picked 5 pitches. We'll get into the other pitches later, but I think he's the only pitcher because what they do is down below is they give you a list of 3 other pitchers that had a chance to be picked in this.
Yeah.
I think he's the only pitcher in there 3 times. So he's in there for this pitch and then in there 2 other possible pitches he could have been picked for.
There was another one they talked about. Garrett Cole. You asked me yesterday.
Yeah.
And Dan Plesac was doing a talk on him. And it was because his 4-seam fastball, it picked up in velocity from when he was at the Pirates.
Yeah.
I don't know why he got better when he went to the Astros, but it picked up in velocity, and there was a tail on it. And you said that's pretty much what Jacob deGrom has. Didn't you say he throws it up to 100?
Yeah, they have his high velocities now. We'll say 4 of those came in the same game on the 28th of 8/28 last year. I can't even think of months right now. But, what was that? August 28th. Yeah, he throws it up in the upper 90s. He threw, his highest was almost 100, it was 99.
And it has a tail on it.
And it has a tail.
So
some of the hitters were, and then they interviewed some hitters. Actually, I'm glad we have this here. So the 4-seam, the way he throws his, of course he has his fingers on the curve, that's why they call it a 4-seam, because he touches it twice. And then how did they have it in here? And then his thumb is tucked under like that. So that's how he would throw his.
So on the seams?
Yeah. Well, he does his
on the curve.
Yeah, on the curve. And then he just has his thumb tucked under. There's one later on the changeup that I really like the way he places his fingers. It's really different. But yeah, he had the highest.
Just keep it.
I'll set that there for now. DeGrom had the highest miss rate among 4-seam fastballs. I think that's what it was. I think that's what he was first. Yeah, miss rate 31% on a fastball. Now this is a straight fastball. Now, it does have some tail on it, but it's still just a fastball. I mean, a 30% miss rate on a fastball is unbelievable. And his average velocity is 96, so that should tell you. And his put away rate on it is 25% in the league. The league average is 17.5, so almost 10% higher put out rate for this pitch. Pham was talking about it. No, was it Pham? No, Ryan Zimmerman. He was talking about it. He said every time you seem like you're on top of it, you foul it off. He said it's like that every time you just foul the ball. He said there's nothing else you can do to it. So I mean, and they did talk to Pham about it, and Pham said it's almost like a sinker, the way it moves sometimes.
No, that's crazy.
So it's almost like sinking to 4-seam. You don't, I guess, according to the miss rate. And you have to remember how good these hitters are in the majors. I guess we'll get on to the next pitch. Then they did a 2-seam fastball, and this one didn't surprise me much. David Price.
No, this one definitely has a tail on it because it's 2-seam. It's like a reverse cutter.
Yep. It's crazy. I was trying to get the grip on here, but apparently it doesn't want to load for me. Oh, it's not loading. But basically a 2-seamer, you put it on the stitches right here.
Where'd you scroll to? See, mine doesn't even go down that. Oh, do you have to expand
it? Yeah, you have to hit expand. For some reason, my grip won't pop up, but that's basically a. What do you say? Okay, so he tucks his both fingers underneath it like that. It's how he does it.
So when you throw it,
it rolls off the fingers. So he tucks this finger and the pinky underneath and the thumb underneath, and you grip it with the two seams.
Okay, so your hand is like that.
Yeah. Now, of course, these pitchers have different grips for the same pitch. Some pitchers will have different grips for the same pitch as another guy would. It just depends on how you were brought up, things you saw. I'll see, what do they say about his? Of course, he has good velocity on his pitches. David Price throws hard. He's a left-hander, which makes it even harder. Something else they show in here is the percent, like the location they hit the most, and he goes inside on left-handers, outside on right-handers, which makes sense because he's a lefty.
I can't believe.
And he keeps his in the middle of the plate a lot, and the fact that they still can't hit it means it's unbelievable. Opponent batting average against 171. The league average is 286. So it's not even close. So he might have the best pitch in baseball. He might have the best pitch in baseball.
Wait till you get to the next pitch.
His put away rate's 22.6%. Some of the pitchers that missed the cut: Aaron Nola, Walker Buehler. That's probably how you pronounce it, Buehler. But I didn't announce those on the last pitch. I guess I should have. But
yeah, wait until you get to the next pitch.
And George Springer, who's of course a great hitter, said it looks like a 4-seamer until it's not. He said you can normally tell the difference, but the biggest thing with Price is he calls it a hip shot because he starts back here when he's pitching, keeps it back behind his hip until he's about to release it, which some pitchers have started doing. Yeah, curveball. Apparently my phone wanted to go crazy. Blake Snell.
And he won the. If you notice, a lot of these guys, he won the Cy Young last year too. DeGrom and Snell.
He had a miss rate of 53%.
Yeah, wait till you see the batting average.
That's.
I'm not gonna take you
my
off.
My grip keeps not showing up. You might have to show it to
instead of tucked under, it's like tucked down on the side of the ball.
Which one? Let me see.
Wait till it spins around. See how.
Okay, so his fingers back a little bit. Yeah, and it's like tucked under, almost like
instead of all the way under.
That's an odd. God, that would
Yeah.
be weird.
Let me see if I can. My hands aren't
That's
very.
so odd.
My hands aren't very big.
The way he places his fingers on it are so weird.
So he tucks it. It's like, I don't know how to do it. It's like down.
Yeah. Plus, his one finger's back further than the other one. It's real awkward feeling.
I don't even know if that's right.
I don't even know if that's right.
I don't even know if that's.
It's weird. It's such an awkward feeling whenever you grip the ball like
Anyway,
that.
the pinky and the ring finger are tucked down on the side of the ball instead of under.
Instead of under it. Yep. And you know, on his pitch location, he keeps it down. You can tell his three of his four biggest spots are down.
You're right. The middle finger is back.
He is back
behind.
back behind the pointer finger.
Oh no, the pointer finger's back behind.
The pointer finger's back behind. Right.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more awkward than the middle finger being.
And the thumb is just like barely holding the ball.
53% total outs, ranked first.
Yeah, look at the batting average. And look at the percent. Look at the location he puts it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, perfectly. Just right on the corner, right on the edge of the strike zone.
Is he a lefty?
Just below the knee. I'm not sure if Blake Snell's a lefty or not. Yeah. On this picture right here, he's throwing left-handed.
James, look at that corner pitch.
I know.
He throws that 16-20. Look, it's right on the outside corner too.
That's crazy.
So when you have an opposing left-handed batter,
yeah, there's no way.
It's going away from him and it's dropping in the exact location that you want it.
Yep. And some of the others that they said could have made the cut here are Verlander, Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola was on this list too.
Look at the total outs. Look at those stats.
I know for the Blake Snell.
Batting average is 126.
Yep. Almost 1 out of 10, which is crazy. Mookie Betts, who of course is one of my favorite players, great hitter, said that he's so tall that it's a high release. That might be why it goes down, Cody. He's so tall that he said it has a high release and it just drops on a dime. So.
Yep. And then the next one, Max Scherzer, another Cy Young winner.
Max Scherzer. Yeah. Most of these, I think all these guys.
Corey Kluber, another.
Has David Price won a Cy Young?
I think so. I think it was a while back though.
Yeah, the changeup, Scherzer. His changeup spin rate is 1,457 rotations per minute. It's 1,030 fewer than the average of his fastball, which is crazy.
It's awkward.
Yeah, see, for some reason my grips keep not showing up. Yeah, this is the one I wanted to show. This is the one I thought was really cool and interesting. He has the 3 fingers on top and the 2 fingers below. So that's basically what he does is he just lets it roll off the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about on this part about how which is what you have to do with the changeup. My sister pitched, and she still pitches, and that's what you have to keep the same arm speed with the changeup, or it's not going to work. They'll know. So you have to have the same arm speed, but you have to have a rotation. And well, I'm doing like this because she pitches like that. But some softball pitchers will just, instead of flicking the wrist like they normally would, they'll keep the same arm speed, but they'll just let the palm push it, so it'll slow the ball down. But yeah, that's what they were talking about on here is how it's the same arm speed, but it's so much slower that there's nothing you can do.
And his changeup seems like he tries to throw it on the outside part of the plate away from the pitcher. Yeah.
For left-handers and then inside on right-handers. His batting average for this pitch is 126. Put away rate's 23.5. So I mean, it's DeGrom. This is another one DeGrom was in, and Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs. But I guess we'll get into the
now this is the one
last pitch.
I'm gonna agree with you because I don't know the grip of the slider.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention it.
Oh yeah.
With the other.
And they kind of mention it on here how it's the
cut is odd.
His cutter is and this one he keeps the fingers together, right?
Yeah, here. Oh,
it shows it, but it's not spinning. It's another one, except I guess the big difference on this one is you just keep the fingers together.
And they're on the side.
And they're
tilted over.
Yeah, they're like, I guess that's how they get the rotation on the ball.
Come on.
But they set this back.
Yeah, they're tilted. It's like the thumb is over here.
Yeah.
On the side, and the fingers are over here.
Which makes sense because that's how they would get the rotation on the ball to get it to move. And they talked about on here about how his cutter's similar to a slider, a cutter, or like a curveball. It moves like all of them.
And the cutter, like you said when we were talking about it, because we were discussing, I said I wanted to put a slider on here just because I like the slider. The cutter's pretty. The cutter's just like a fast slider.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's it's just whatever you prefer.
But I mean, the one I was looking at was Randy Johnson.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Who threw a slider, and I didn't want to leave him out. Going the big unit. I think he had. It didn't give the percentages, and that's why I didn't want to go in depth into it. But I know Randy Johnson was an unbelievable.
I will just say one thing about Randy Johnson. He was so tall. He was like 6'11", and his arms were so long.
And they gave a story, and they said when he perfected that pitch was when he was with the San Francisco Giants, and it was because it was at the very end of his career. And at the very end of his career,
I had completely forgotten he pitched for him. That's right.
Yeah, and they said it was because he had gotten so old to where he couldn't throw like straight
fastballs and stuff anymore.
So it's kind of like, of course, Roberto Colon had to perfected his fastball.
Yeah, yeah.
But Randy Johnson, I guess, perfected the pitching style, like the off speed, the movement.
Yep.
To where pitchers couldn't hit it, and I think that's. You remember Matt Harvey? Remember when he had such trouble at the Mets? And
yeah.
Took him to the Reds. He was so stubborn that he would not get off of his fastball, and they kept telling him, "Look, your velocity is going down.
You have to do it.
You're going to have to change something," and he wouldn't do it. So then they put him in as a relief pitcher. He didn't want to do that. So then he said, "I want to be a starter." So they moved him to the Reds, and he was still trying to throw a hard fastball. Look, dude, if you can't get your velocity up, you got to change something.
You know what's crazy? Is there's been a few pitchers in the past that have lost velocity, and they've gone to knuckleballs. You know how hard that is just to learn? Like
Bert Blyleven did it a lot.
I mean, you know how hard that is just to learn how to throw a knuckleball?
Yeah, which is true. And that's the stuff you practice for the off season. But there's some things, or the location, like Cologne.
Yeah. How to get spots.
Yeah, you have to be able to hit locations or something.
One thing I will say about Randy Johnson is I can't even imagine what it was like being a left-hander. Because when he threw, his arm extended all the way out left.
Yeah,
he didn't go overhand. He went all the way out left. So I think it was Barry Bonds was talking one time. He said it'll start back all the way back behind your body.
That's right. I remember.
All the way back in.
I remember he would reach back all the way back here and whip his arm.
Yep.
I mean, he was.
It's crazy.
And they used to have a pitcher that was called the Bird. I think it was like a nickname for. I can't remember. It was an older pitcher. He had long hair too.
That's hilarious.
And they said the way he moved. Randy Johnson kind of reminds me of that guy, and I can't remember his name. It was an older pitcher. Maybe we'll get him in the packs.
You never know.
But it was an older pitcher, and he had the similar style, and people said it was so hard because he was so unorthodox.
Yeah. Well.
So, I mean, but those are the pitches we wanted to go through. We thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much else to go on.
Not much else to say. I think that's probably going to be it for the first segment.
And that was kind of... I mean, that was kind of interactive a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of doing the, like, just straight talk.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of
showing the grips, things like that.
But you know what, guys? I guess we talked about the announcement with the.
Yeah, with the podcast.
We're going to start trying to do that, and I guess that's it for that segment. Anyway, guys. Tip with Cody and James, Comments at Sports. Make sure to like, subscribe,
hit that notification bell,
leave us a comment, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next video.